everybody, and welcome back to Kev's Hobby Showcase. I am, of course, Kevin. You may have also seen me on Tabletop Jones Productions, where John and I are the two idiots playing board games. And today, shocking surprise, I'm going to be painting some minis. I actually have a star of battlemechs, and when I say star, so we know it's clan. And it's going to be done in the colors of Clan Seafox, which is gray-green. And I actually found out that I do have gray-green. I don't have to mix colors. So here we go. We got this one here, which is the dire wolf, pretty big. You got this one here, the shadow cat. This is actually from when I was getting battle mechs from Ironwind Metals, so it's all metal. And now we got the horned owl. I know it's an odd name, but it's a nice looking mech. And this one here, the dire wolf or the mad cat. I don't know why they sometimes have two names for these clan battle mechs, but that's what they have for this. Of course, years ago, this was probably the most popular. And this was one of the premium ones where you actually had to put it together, the Stormcrow. All right, so we're going to be, first we're going to be priming them. This is a bit gray outside, so if a little hard to see, I might edit it out, but I'm going to give it a try. And so next is the priming, and then we go with the base coat. It's probably going to be done fairly quickly because it's just base coat. Then the usual thing about about painting the weapons, cockpit window, and the base, and then of course the base and all that other stuff. So we'll get to it all, but first the priming. So stay tuned, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back, and well, I did the priming off camera because, not because it was too gray or because of the lighting, but because yesterday it was 80 degrees, today it's 40, so it's cold and I'm old. It's as simple as that. All right, so anyway, I'm going to get started on the base coat on these battle mechs, and so let's just get to it, right? There we go. Let's put this down. All right. Now, so normally I do these videos on Saturdays, but yesterday, well, let's just say yesterday I fought arthritis and arthritis won. Yeah, it was not a good day for me as it pertains to that. It was a bit of a rough one. So I just took the day to rest. I actually did enjoy the 80-degree weather. I sat out on my deck with my Kindle, reading a book series. I believe it's called Legacy Fleet. Unfortunately, I do not remember the name of the author, but it is a good series. I think I'm in the third book. I don't know how many books are in this series, but that's the book I'm up to. I like to even though I like to write, I do like to read also science fiction books. Like to it's like as far as for me with my writing, whatever I read gives me inspiration. So I try not to copy what I've read because that would just not be right. But like I said, I let it give me inspiration to come up with my own characters and come up with my own ideas. And I don't know. It's also nice. It's also nice to read because sometimes you can get lost in a story and just really thoroughly enjoy it. I mean, I can remember this once. I mean, I am a big fan of William Shatner. I mean, I grew up watching Captain Kirk, and I do enjoy the books that he's written. And one of the those tech novels, from the Tech War series. I remember I was reading one of them one night, and I just totally lost track of time. And before I knew it, I was like halfway through the book, and I looked at the time. It was like in the wee hours of the morning. I was like, "Wait a minute, how long have I been reading this?" And so it's like sometimes when you're reading something and you're really enjoying it, it's just easy to just totally lose track of time. And BattleTech has a large number of fiction books out there. I mean, of course, it's fiction, but they do have a large number of books out there, and it does It usually does, at least, pertain to the lore that they put out for the game. So anybody who likes to read science fiction, I would encourage that. I mean, I've read mostly from the Dark Age era. I really should indulge in some of the other books. I mean, I've been pretty much just reading books off the Kindle for now. So I really should start making more of a search for these books on the Kindle. Yeah, I actually started the Kindle years ago. I remember when me and my ex-wife were still married. We had a concern about how much space that we had, and it was suggested that I get that so that I wouldn't be cluttering up a lot of the house with these books. And I wasn't opposed to it. And I think that year, that birthday, I think I managed, someone had gotten me one, which was nice. Boy, this is a big battle mech. Lot of areas to paint. It's a good thing it's a brand new jar of paint. Okay. Boy, interesting color, this gray green. It's the first time I've actually used it. Yeah, I think the last time I was doing videos, I was thinking about this particular faction, and I was saying, I had forgotten that I had found it, and I was saying, it's like, just wait till I can get a jar of it, so this way, because I hate, I don't like mixing colors, because, I'm not very skilled at it, and what it usually winds up becoming is a huge mess, and I didn't want to waste paint doing that. Then, when I was done with the videos that I made last week, I was looking through my little, I got like a little toolbox filled with all my painting supplies, because I don't have anything else to put it in. And one's done. So when I was finished, I was looking through, and I was like, oh, it's like I do have it. I had totally forgotten I had found it the last time I went to Brown's Hobbies. And I could just, I could pretty much remember that when I did find it there, I was like, oh, look at that. I actually need that. Yeah, because, like I said, I'm not very skilled in mixing paint. Some of you out there might be. I am not. Every time I try to mix paint to get another, like a different color, I always botched it. So I prefer to just find the color or find something very similar to the color that I'm looking for. Alright. And like I said, this is a star of battlemechs, so once I say star, you should know it's for the clans, not the inner sphere. The inner sphere is a lance, which is 4. For the clans, it's a star, which is 5. Alright. Yeah, as a matter of fact, there's a hardcover book that I bought called for BattleTech called Total Warfare. And it pretty much has like all the rules. It has basically every little bit of information that you would need for every part of the BattleTech game, whether it be for the battle mechs, whether it be for the vehicles, whether it be for the battle armor or infantry, as because they call it battle armor. They don't really call it infantry. And like the fighter jets and everything. It's pretty much everything that is involved with the game is in there, and they have the rules for it. They talk about some of the different factions. They don't really go into it too much. Mainly, I think it's mainly in that book, the Inner Sphere factions. They don't really go too much into the clan. But but anyway, it does have rules for everything. And so anybody out there who is interested in this game, that is a very good source book to have. As a matter of fact, if I can remember when I post this, since I do have the affiliation status, I will include that in the I will include that in the post. I'll include a link to that in the post. Should have gotten under here with the primer more, but so it's okay because this one was painted before, so it's not going to just rub off. At least it shouldn't. Alright, yeah, so anyway, there was no faction pack that I got for this clan, so I'll put a link to the starter set, to like the main starter set. I'll put a link. I'll see if they have the starter set for Clan Invasion, and I'll put that one in. I'll have the link for the book Total Warfare. I'll put all that stuff in there because a lot of that stuff is good for people who are just starting out with the game. And heck, even if you've been in the game for a long time and it's just, you just want like one book with all the rules that you would need, so you can just flip through just one book. I mean, it's also a good thing to have. But my suspicion is that most people who are in the game already have it. But I'll still put it up because you never know. Alrighty. Here we go. 2 more to go for the base coat. Here we go. Yeah, unfortunately yesterday, like I said, I fought arthritis and the arthritis won. It's been a rough bunch of weeks because the temperature keeps fluctuating and it keeps getting damp. So yeah. And my mother told me I would have days like this, weeks like this. I was hoping she was wrong, but Mom's always right. Yeah, it's a lot of little on this one especially. There's a lot of little crevices here. When I get to the wash, it's going to stand out a lot, and it's going to look really good. Okay. So I did see an advertisement for BattleTech, I believe for the company website itself, and it does look like that they are going to be releasing some of the battle armor units, which is, well, for I'm sure not just for me, but for people who are into the game, it is a big deal. Because Catalyst Labs started out with just battlemechs, and now they're starting to get into the other aspects of the game. I mean, I still haven't gotten that Kickstarter, unfortunately. I don't know when my Kickstarter stuff is going to start arriving. I hope sometime soon. But I guess just got to be patient. So every day I come home from work, I look at my doorstep, I'm like, still no. Okay, just about done with this one. With the base coat at least. And I think when I do the base, I think I'm going to do it in the snow terrain, because I haven't done that one in a very long time. Okay. Whew. Last one for the base coat, and then we take a break and let it all dry. Yeah, my kids are actually here. Usually, I mean, most of the times I was doing these, I was doing it while they weren't here, but you know, they're here today, and it starts the time with me. And so, since they don't want to be on camera, or they don't want to be heard on camera at all, they are hiding upstairs in their bedrooms. And I say hiding jokingly, but they just, it's like they want to do their own stuff with their, they want to have their own YouTube channels, and they don't want to have anybody, go to them because of like me or anybody else. They want to be able to get stuff done on their own merit, which I do respect. So my son actually has, well, he just has one reel out so far. He's very much a perfectionist, and that's what's kind of delaying a lot of what he wants to do, because he wants to get it just right. And my daughter, well, she's busy with school, so she doesn't really have a whole heck of a lot of time to devote to something like this. So yeah. Oh, here we go. Just about finished with the base coat. Okay. Alrighty, man. Oh, and here I thought I was so well prepared, I forgot to grab the napkin to wipe my brushes. Alright. Just put that there. Okay, alright. So we're going to let that paint dry. And when we come back, we're going to start with, I'm going to do, the gunmetal to the, put that on the weapons and on the cockpit window. We're going to put black on the base. And then after that is, basically the basing and the wash. So still got a bit, more to do. So just stay tuned, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back, and that base coat on these battlemechs has had time to dry. So now we're going to start with using gunmetal on the weapons and the cockpit window, and black for the base. All right, so let's get to it. All right, get that done. Okay. I actually grabbed two brushes. Really short one for when I do the cockpit window, and one that's not as short for the weapons. All right. Yeah, I was just actually, I was on my break waiting for this waiting for the paint to dry. I was watching a satire video on my favorite football team. A comedian was making like he was like one of the coaches in the, talking about the signings that the Giants just did for quarterback. Now, I am a very big Giants fan, and I have not been happy with the way the team has been over the last couple of years. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I've even said it to the guys I work with. I said what the Giants have become is they become that team that you like to play to make yourself feel better. Because, I mean, so many seasons of double-digit losses just doesn't cut it in the NFL. So, but being that there are a lot of people out there who do see sports as a hobby, I'm actually thinking about possibly doing videos related to the Giants, which could be a little bit entertaining. The only thing is that, you know, I mean, some people do include like clips of, you know, from the game. I don't know what the laws are for that, so maybe I'll have to figure that out first, or if I can't figure it out, I'm just gonna have to not have it. So yeah, you know, I do know that it's I do know with sports the videos are better when you include actual clips, but I have to see what I can do about that. All right, get the smaller brush now to the cockpit window. Or in some cases, windows. It's very elaborate. I just put my finger on what I just painted. Alright. Okay. Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Okay. Alright. I mean, like I said, I've said it in previous videos, I am trying to find, well, not so much find, I'm trying to come up with some other ideas for videos that are, you know, that of things that would be considered hobbies. I mean, the only thing is that I'm not going to cover a hobby that I'm not into, so I got to look into what I'm actually into as far as that, and then go from there. You know, I do cook, but I am very reluctant to do cooking videos because there are just so many videos related to cooking on the internet, you know, especially YouTube. So, you know, I'm trying not to, basically, I'm trying not to copy anybody. And it's weird because I actually have been encouraged by people close to me to copy other people making video content who have like a lot of followers or a lot of subscribers and all that stuff. So, you know, they're like, oh, you should do that. You can get a lot of views and da 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 da. But I stand my ground, and I say, you know, because I basically say, listen, you're comparing apples to oranges. You're comparing what I'm doing to what they're doing, and it's two different things here. Besides, it's better to come across this, you know, success on this with, you know, on your own merit, rather than just mimicking what someone else is doing. You know, so that's why I am very specific in what I make videos about. Because first off, I got to know what I'm talking about. You know, so if I try to do a video on something that I have absolutely no prior interest in, I'm not going to have any idea of what I'm talking about. And that's not going to make for a good video now, is it? I would say no. Looks like I'm running out of the cap. So get it from there. All right. this one down. Let's pick this one up. And let's get those cockpit windows. Oh boy. Okay, let me see if this looks like anything on the side. Actually, it does. Let's try to get this a little bit better then. All right. All right, not too bad. Okay. All right. Oops, a little bit too much. So I basically, you know, as I've done with other battlemechs, I just look for anything that could be a weapon. I mean, most of it is obvious. But sometimes, you know, they're like little bumps that stick out that may or may not be a weapon, but I figure, you know what, I'm just going to paint it this color anyway. Yeah, so anyway. Yeah, it was, like I said, it was, as far as the priming for today, it was, you know, you know, there's no way I could do it because it was just, weather was not permitting, let's just put it that way. Like I said, it was 80 degrees yesterday, it dropped down to like 40 today. And I'm not as young as I used to be, so I don't take to the cold like I used to. So I said, screw it. Let me just, So I said, let me just, you know, cut my losses and just do it inside. Well, not inside. I pretty much, you know, had it like basically I had my arms sticking out the door, but I didn't stay out there. Well, warmer weather is coming, so eventually I'll be out there doing this stuff. All right. Okay. I'm seeing that there are little wet spots here and there. I probably should have waited longer for the base coat to dry. But when I started, it looked like it was okay, so I didn't think anything of it. And it's been working out okay. Hasn't, you know, I really haven't rubbed off any other paint too badly. So any of you out there who also follow Tabletop Jones Productions, you know, John and I have been doing some editing to get these videos out. It's like just recently we've been doing the game Zombie Dice, and we played 3 games, mainly because there was specialty dice. It was like special edition dice that was in the package, and we wanted to first play with the just all the regular dice, and then add in some for a second game. And then in the third game, we wanted to include this huge one that they have in there. So we're still working on that third one. Usually we'd be working on it today, but John has personal stuff he needs to attend to, so I figure it'd be a good opportunity for me to do this today. I'm going to try to get this done as early as possible, though. Yeah, actually, one of the reasons I want to get it done as early as possible is so that my kids don't feel like they're trapped upstairs. Weird one. This horned owl doesn't have a lot of obvious areas where there's a weapon. And yeah, I'm just gonna do that for the cockpit. All right, that's the gunmetal. And for each of these, I'm gonna go over with the. Gotta do the base with for the black. Get that all ready for the labels. Okay. All right. So let's get a nice brush for this. Seems like as good as any. All right. You just peel back, because I always put a label on the bottom just so I know what the battlemech is, because there are so many, and it would be, for me at least, impossible to remember which one is which. All right. All right. Like I said, thinking of using the terrain for snow, because I haven't used that one in a long time. And I was looking at the, like the container I have it in, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, shit, it looks like I got a container of cocaine here. What the heck? Yeah, so probably why I don't take it out as much. Now, of course, I don't do any of that crap. Oops. But, I do know what it looks like. All right. Getting ever so closer to the end of this part, at least. Well, I got to get from there now. So, when I was talking about the Giants earlier, one thing I was thinking of possibly doing was when the NFL season rolls around again, to do like maybe a before and after the game segment. Might be good for a laugh, especially with the way they've been over the last couple of years. Or, you know, you might see me beaming about them. Who knows? I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm not expecting them to do any better than they did this past season, because I don't really see them making any good decisions. As a matter of fact, most of the decisions that they are making, to me, feels like they're giving into peer pressure from a portion of the fan base that, in my opinion, has become very toxic. And I say that because, whoops, whoa, managed to not break this and not get paint all over my shirt. Anyway, as I was saying, these fans were placing the blame for all the giant woes on one player, and then anybody who defended that player, they were attacking them too. So yeah, that's why I say they were toxic. Anyway, so all right, so all that is done. I'm gonna wait for that paint to dry before we move on. When I do move on, I'm gonna be off like I always do. I'm gonna put the labels on off camera. I'll save one to do on camera, and then we do the base and then the wash, and it's all finished. All right, so stay tuned, and I will be right back. Okay, I've let that paint dry on these battlemechs, and I put the labels on all but one. Like I said, I would do the last one on camera, so let's get to it. All right. All right. This is the terrain. Okay. So I know I also cut these down off camera. If you ever want to see what I do with these labels, even if at the very least you want to see what label maker I'm using, just let me know in the comments section, and next time I do these Battletech minis, I'll whoops, and like I was just saying, let me know in the comments section, and I will put it on camera. Okay. Well then, let us get started now with the basing, since this one is right here already. Okay. Like I said, I'm decided to use the snow terrain, mainly because I rarely use it. I don't know why. I think a couple of times it came out thinner than I'd liked. Maybe that's why. But figure I got so much of it, as you can see. Yeah, there we go. And that's probably why. Okay, let me put a little dab here because it doesn't seem to be filling in all the way. Okay, so I'll try to get more to go on the rest of these. Oops. And if you hear creaking, that's my kids moving around upstairs. I already warned them that I was going to start up again, so they most likely will not be coming down. Because like I said, they do value their privacy. As well as, like I said earlier, they want to do their own channels, and they would rather not basically have any ties. They want to do everything on their own, which I fully get, and I respect. Okay. So with this glue, I'm actually putting more on it than I normally would, because the snow terrain does have a tendency to go on pretty thin. Just trying to get as much on these bases as possible. Okay. All right, I think these are going on better than the ones that I've done in the past. All right, this one's going to be tricky, because, you know, with the feet at least, because of the way this one is. All right. Okay, let's get this one. All right. Okay, last one, and then we will get the base. Then we get the I'm sorry, the wash done. Close this because it's going to be the last one I need it for. All right. So this one here has got like one of the feet is up, so I'm trying to get underneath it as best as I can. Okay. Okay. And it actually doesn't really matter if you get a bunch of it on the actual foot, because, you know, snow clings. Let's face it. All right, clean that off as best I can. All right, the next video I'm going to do is going to be, like I said, a Star of Elementals for this clan. So I'm going to use the snow on that one as well. All right, so now let's get to the wash, and we can finish this up. I don't know if you heard that. There's a car alarm going off. There do seem to be a good number of people near where I live who either have very sensitive car alarms or don't know how to freaking use them, because they're always going off. Especially, I don't know, maybe it's just that they're very sensitive. I don't know. It does seem to happen frequently when weather starts to get warmer, and it was warmer yesterday. So, all right, that one finished off pretty good. Okay, here we go. And as I've said before with the wash, you know, it goes into all those little crevices, makes everything stand out better. But right now what I got to be careful about is not really knocking off the snow terrain I just put on, and to not have too much of the wash mix in with it. Because with the other terrains that I use, whether it be grassland or desert, it won't show up as much. But with, I mean, let's face it, snow is white. Everything shows up on white. Okay, filling in pretty nice. Okay. 2 more to go. We are moving. And if I'm successful, this will be a first because normally by now I would have had to have changed the battery. So this one is going pretty good so far on the same battery that I started with. So it's like a race against the clock right now to get it all done before that battery runs out. Well, I jinxed myself. I just had to change the battery. And I was almost finished. But, that's okay. That's okay. See, the thing is that when these batteries go dead on my camcorder, I don't know about it until it actually happens. I think at least I hear like the beep. Whoops, I gotta hold this correctly. At least I hear a beep that the battery has run out. So I can remember one time with one of John's recording devices, when we were recording for Tabletop Jones, we didn't even know that the battery had run out until like way later than it did, and I'm like, ah. But we always have more than one camera angle going for that, so it didn't really hurt us as much. And with all the babbling I'm doing, I'm actually finished. Hold on a second, let me. I'll tilt this up. You're going to see them very soon. Okay, here we go. A star of battlemechs for Clan Sea Fox. Look at that. It came out very good. And so, anyway, that's all I got for today. I mean, sometimes these battlemechs, sometimes the color schemes are very simple, so they go fairly quickly. And today was no different. All right, so thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share this video as much as possible. I like to reach as many people as I can. And it also helps support the channel. Also, please go to Tabletop Jones Productions and do the same there, so we can we would like to try to reach as many people with that one. And the subscribing, it's costs you nothing, and it's the best way to support the channel. All right, so thank you very much for watching. You could also follow us. We're on Facebook, as there is we do have a Tabletop Jones on there. We have also a group called Tabletop Jones, which originally was supposed to be a gaming society, but it turned into just a private group on Facebook. We're also on X as Tabletop Jones Productions. We're also on Instagram as Tabletop Jones Productions, and you can follow me on Twitter as Kevin of Tabletop Jones Productions. Trying to basically stretch out our social media presence and try to reach as many people as possible. So, like, follow, subscribe, do all that stuff, help support the channel, help draw attention to us, help bring in as many people as you can. All right, thank you very much, and you have a great day.